But Tiger King. Tiger King.
Tiger King.
I've seen episode 1. Kyle's finished it. Yes,
I finished it.
Other people, where are you?
I've seen episode 1 and a bit into 2, but that's all I've seen.
I think I'm in 2.
Okay,
I'm not sure.
All right, so I heard about Tiger King. I saw it on Netflix. It looks dumb, like this, the picture of it or whatever.
Looks
it's
retarded.
Like
I would have never clicked it if you hadn't said.
Never would have clicked it. But I heard so many people talking about it. I heard Bert Kreischer talking about it. Lots of celebrities and lots of people I know were just like, "You got to watch it. You got to watch it. You got to watch it." So we start watching this shit, and essentially, all right. So it's about people who keep tigers, exotic cats,
big cats,
not just tigers.
And there's this group of people across the country. One's in Myrtle Beach, one's in bumfuck Oklahoma, one's in Tampa, Florida, and they all have these parks where they have big cats, lions, and tigers, and bears, and wolves, and everything you can imagine.
Alligators,
right?
yeah, it's like a zoo.
They have their own little private zoos, and they are all, each one is more interesting than the last. One of these guys is a gay, mullet-wearing, gun-toting, polygamist homosexual with about 12 piercings on his face. He is the Tiger King.
I like
another one.
He's funny.
Another one, and they are not related, by the way. They know each other like the same way that like Richard and I know each other, because like we sort of did the same thing, and there's like a community of people who did that same thing or do that same thing, and we all kind of know each other because we see each other at conventions and like whatever. Like we're in the same like sphere of influence. Well, there's this other guy in Myrtle Beach, also a polygamist,
but the straight kind.
He rides around on an elephant in his neighborhood, and he's got like 6 bitches. And you might think, oh, I bet this is one of those like Mormon deals where like Sarah plain and tall, Sarah short and stocky. No, he's got 6 hot bitches. All right. And he's got them all dressed up in leopard print and lion makeup.
And
like
here's
he
the
dresses
thing. He chooses all of their outfits, and as an extra level of duplicitousness and cultishness, he makes them legally change their names when they show up. So she'll be like, yeah, my name was Michelle. Now my name's Molly. Or my name's Mala. Like you give them like little like creative like, African sounding names or whatever. And it was like, oh, this is like, I was watching that last night after Kyle's recommendation. I was like, first of all, thumbs up to this guy for running what every man wants, to have a bunch of cool animals, no monkeys downside, but a bunch of cool animals and a bunch of free pussy. And they're all so brainwashed that they'll do whatever you say. And
they
they're
work
working
for
12
him
hours
too.
a day.
They work for him 12 hours a day. They get like $200 a week.
100.
It's $100 a week each girl. But here's the thing. At one point he's driving through his compound and he's like, that's where Masha lives. That's her house. And that's where Desha lives. That's her house. He's got each of these ladies in a nice fucking house. Like he's got like $2 million worth of houses just for his ladies.
And then
you
like,
haven't even described the antagonist yet.
The antagonist is Hillary Clinton.
She is so unlikable. At least the cool cult guy is funny as shit.
Yeah.
And he's clearly got some kind of mental impasse of like sociopathy. Like his eyes are open way too much every time he speaks. He's enunciating in a way that seems forced, seems manufactured.
Directing the cameras.
He's directing people. Yeah, the first like little clip they had of him, like they were talking and getting to know him, and he's like, all right. So you come around the front. I'm gonna go inside. I'm gonna open it. You say, how are you doing? I'm gonna say, I'm doing great. How are you? And then I'll let you in. All right. And then he just like walks away, and they're like, "All right, well, I guess that's what we're doing." It's like he's just directing his own
reality show.
Meanwhile, the other guy was just as funny, where he's like, he just had a 19-year-old, a tall, lithe, young, sexy 19-year-old boy show up, and he just convinces him to stay somehow, like clearly through manipulation.
So the Tiger King named Joe, he's already got one husband, right?
Joe Exotic.
This guy with meth mouth, who's a stocky fella, who, like good shape, muscled up, pierced nipples, tattoos all over him, and he decides time to add another hubby. And this 19-year-old guy like comes into his little sphere of influence, And they make a good point to explain to you, dude wears a size 16 shoe. Dude's hands are enormous. All right. He's dark. He's got this nice tan complexion.
Looks like the Mediterranean. Yeah.
Big hands. They go over the hands like twice. The feet at least twice. The hands at least 3 times. They're letting you know this guy's got a hog. All right. And Joe is all about it. And Joe asks him, he's like, I asked him, just how straight are you? And he said, pretty straight. And I said, let me ask you this. When you watch porn? Yeah, I watch porn. Well, when you watch porn, do you like to see the guy doing the girl with a little penis or a big one? And he said, well, I like to see it with the big one. I said, well, you ain't that straight.
That's when I began molding his mind into basically being a receptacle for my penis when I am wheeling. And it's like
I don't know who was the receptacle for who.
I bet it was getting tossed around a bit.
I get it's probably irrelevant, but essentially 2 polygamists in this show right off the bat. Okay. Then we meet the lady who's trying to play like the PETA, I'm here for the good of the animals.
Fuck that bitch.
Bullshit. Because she's doing the exact same thing they're doing.
I hope a tiger kills her.
But she's using the angle of I'm here for the good of the animals. They're just breeding cubs to let people pay to pet them. I charge people to look at animals. And I should be the only one who can do that. And she's trying to shut everybody else down by getting these laws passed against what they do. Have a
monopoly, basically.
She wants a monopoly over what she's got. She is so evil. I don't want to spoil anything. Let me just go over some of the... Can I
jump in?
Yes, please.
So I haven't seen as much as Kyle have. I watched the first episode. And even I'm a little bit like, what makes her the good guy? Yeah, and she pictures herself as the good guy. She said, and the bad guys are like, man, fuck animal rights people. And, they're shooting into the lake. This is what I do to animal rights. Cacao, 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 cacao. They put tannerite in a mannequin's crotch. Took them like 4 shots to hit the thing the size of a jar of peanut butter from nowhere. I am an average shot, and I can hit tannerite. Like that's not hard. Anyway,
he has a limp wrist though.
Yes.
We don't stand for that here in PK.
And a mouthful of dick.
Anyway, they all keep tigers. And she's saying they keep tigers the wrong way. But am I missing something? He had big enclosures. He had big fields. You're
cluing in on hypocrisy at its finest. And look, I'm not going to spoil who is what or what is who or talk about characters who will be introduced. Here are some of the high points of the show. Some of the things that I want to...
I think you can go into it a little bit. Sorry to interrupt, but I think you can, because what happens in the show, it's not a spoiler. It's watching how it rolls out. That's so entertaining. Like telling him that he's a polygamist, that doesn't spoil anything. It's just watching the way they behave.
Well, there are some things that happen that would be spoilers. Let me just tell you, this is an incredible real life drama that they captured on camera. I texted you guys earlier with like some of the I'll call them bullet points. And these are some things that happen in the show. Again, these aren't spoilers. These are things that happen. I'm not telling you who they happen to, or maybe it's even characters you haven't met yet in episode 1. Here we go. Cults, murder, suicide, arson, prison time, polygamy, gold diggers, animal cruelty, meth, animal attacks, guns, explosives, boiling crocodiles, swingers, and presidential campaigns. These are all things that are the main characters of this show will be involved with and will all happen on camera. There will be a death essentially on camera. There is a disfigurement that happens on camera. There is a tiger attack on camera.
Is that why the guy has that crutch thing in episode 1?
Actually, no. He has no legs. That's because that happened in a zipline accident. The most white trash ever way to lose your leg.
Okay.
He could have kept them, but he was working 16 hours a day for Joe, walking around on the tiger farm, and his feet got infected or something. They had to take his legs up to like the mid thigh, and so now he's got these like cool like prosthetics. He's like, a lot of people ask me, did the tigers eat your legs? Nah, Ziplining.
Yeah, now I fell down, totally crushed my feet, and good prognosis until, like, Joe, he said you got to get back to work, and so I came back, and I'm walking around on them, and like every single thing, from what I've seen, I'm thinking I might have got through all of episode 2 and part of 3 because I just had it on autoplay, and every single person who is caught in the wake of at least the 2 cult leader guys, the 2 polygamists, they all blame themselves for anything bad that happens to them. None of them blame the cult leader, at least so far. It's like, it's a master class in just manipulation for these people.
They're all great manipulators. Every one of them. Even Carole doesn't pay her employees.
That made me
volunteers. Like at least the other guys pay like
$100 a week.
$100 a week or $200 a week.
And at least those guys are getting dick.
She does not pay them. And it's a cult there too, essentially, because it reminded me so much of cults I've heard about, where like once you've been here a year, you get a red shirt.
It's like a Scientology structure.
After 2 years, a green shirt, and she's like, I don't really start noticing people until they've been here for 5 years, and I'm just like, I've seen you around a lot. And she's got this fake Hillary Clinton thing where she rolls her eyes and does these fake laughs. So Hillary Clinton.
I want a tiger to kill her so much.
I want
so
her.
Much.
Let me just say this. There's a lot of people in this documentary that want her dead, and there's a few that take some steps to make that happen.
Yes.
They tell you that in the opening episode. Right?
Yeah, we're talking about dude flying around helicopters wanting to drop grenades and shit.
That part was
no.
Contract
killer.
That was a joke. There are people who take steps. All right. He joked about, what if we drop some grenades? Steps are taken.
Do you remember the clip?
Plans are put in motion.
And it was in the same clip as the shirt thing you're talking about, Kyle. So I'm sure all of us remember, if that was episode 1, where some yellow shirt volunteer, blue shirt or whatever, like they're all in like a natural setting outside of some building, all getting ready to work. And she's just joking with this woman, like, are you going to be home for Christmas this year? And the volunteer is like, no Christmas for me. I haven't had Christmas in many years. And it's like, and she's like, oh, that's so funny. All right, now go clean up tiger shit in my dirty ass pseudo zoo. And it's like, man, that was when it fully, like when she went off the precipice where she can't be redeemed for me, where it's like, man, you are up on your fucking high horse so hard on this gay guy who just wants some nice dick and this sociopath who just wants good pussy and tigers. And you are fucking conscripting armies of stupid women who would otherwise be involved in multi-level marketing schemes and getting them to.
I could be selling Amway or Amy or Avon.
Yeah, you could have had a pink Cadillac by now.
I could have been. Yeah, exactly.
Like basically, and then they did a walkthrough of her kind of version of the zoo compared to gay guy harem and straight guy harems. Hers looks horrible in comparison. It's so overgrown. Like they were taking pictures and videos of like how you can't even see through the brush and the weeds growing up next to the side of the cage because it's so overgrown that like you have to go to certain angles to even see the tigers. And say what you will about those other 2 assholes, at least when you were looking at the clips of their businesses, you can see the tigers. They've got shit to play with. It looks like a zoo. It doesn't look like you threw a tiger in a bunch of chicken wire.
They let the patrons hold the cubs. They take selfies with them and stuff. Yeah.
Enclosures look bigger too.
Yeah, that's a big part of their money making operation. It's called cub petting, and so here's the problem with that. Personally, I don't have a problem with it because these are endangered animals. There's 4,000 alive in the wild and like 15,000 in America in captivity or some shit like that.
If they didn't want us to do this, they should have fucked better in the wild.
Yeah, they should have. Look, first of all, I hate cats, so I don't care what happens to them. If this was dogs, I'd be like, whoa. That's a little fucked up.
What if it was hyenas or coyotes?
I don't give a fuck about hyenas. I'm not sure what genus they hail from,
but
fuck hyenas too.
Yeah. They're closer to cats than dogs, apparently.
I don't care what those things are with those big lady cocks they have. It's creepy. And the lady has her babies through like a long penis-like vagina.
It's like a big
real
old clit.
It's like a pseudo penis.
I thought you were saying their penises.
It's a clit.
Look like human penises. Look like human female penises. That's where my head. I was like, I don't.
No, like
I don't understand.
The female hyenas have a penis-looking thing, but it's not, it's not
it's a faux cock. So yeah, it's the most entertaining thing I've seen. It's better than making a murder. Excuse me. It's better than Making a Murderer, but it follows a similar pattern to Making a Murderer. How at the end of every episode, they're like, "Oh, by the way, there's a witness," and you're like, "Bum bum bum," or like somebody at the end of the episode will get mauled or murdered or killed or dead. Somebody will die at the end of an episode as you get deeper. There's 7 episodes, about 42 minutes long each. It's the best thing I've seen in memory. I can't think of the last, especially something that's a documentary like this. And look, this is not one of those fake reality TV shows. All right. During the filming of this, there is a reality TV show.
Shit.
There are
Yeah.
There's going to be some ramifications at the end of this. And I don't mean after this. I mean in the show. There are people going to federal prison.
There came an extra episode of Tiger King that I haven't watched. Was it good?
No. It's Joel McHale doing like Skype interviews with some of the people who were on the show. It's not another. I thought they had re-edited some extra content, more footage. It is not that. So I watched 15, 20 minutes of it and turned it off.
No. It was that bad. Like it couldn't even hold your attention.
I'm not a big Joel McHale fan outside of like
Joel McHale. Is it
like
Joe or Joel?
Ryan
Joel.
Seacrest kind of guy.
He's the guy who did from Community and the one who used to do Talk Soup.
Oh yeah, I definitely know this person. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I didn't like him at this. I think he was a big fan of the show, and that's how he got the gig. And I just didn't care for it. You know, he's
the character he normally plays is way cooler than you being like whoever I'm talking to, right? Like his whole shtick is I'm like so cool, but that's not really a fit in the Tiger King crowd.
Yeah, you know, he was just kind of being himself. And I want to say the first interview was the rotten toothed guy who now has teeth.
Yeah,
and it wasn't for me. It didn't do it for me.
I watched the whole thing, but the only reason I was able to kind of stay engaged through it was because I watched it as soon as it came out, like right on the tail of the Tiger King. But it genuinely is pretty fucking boring. Like that new episode was clearly just a grab for attention. They're like, oh my God, this is the biggest thing on earth. Get everybody on a Zoom call and we'll record it. Like,
I wonder what Tiger King would have been like if they hadn't lost the footage. Right? You know, the animal abuse, the footage that Joe Exotic seemingly destroyed. How does that change it? Joe Exotic came away as this like almost sympathetic hero of a story that had no heroes, maybe the favorite character in this wild story. If it captured him like killing lions for sport and being cruel and being racist, then people might have viewed it through a whole different lens.
I almost thought of it like, maybe I'm wrong. I thought the whole like, oh, free Joe Exotic is the best. Like it seemed like memes almost to me, where it's like, this guy's clearly, all these people for the most part, there are some good people in there, but a lot of them are just pieces of shit.
It's memes, but Carole Baskin was way more hated than Joe Exotic, and probably
she should be. She killed her husband.
Yeah, she is a murderer.
Yeah,
her husband,
Joe Exotic never murdered anyone, as far as
didn't he make money selling drugs, and he flew his plane low over the ocean, single engine, and his plane's missing, and his car was at the airport, and that's how he died?
No, because there's no drugs at all. But the thing is that like his planes were not capable of making the flight that he went on, the trip he was going on.
And he would have known that. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, those planes had like a 150-mile range or whatever, and he needed to go like 1,000 miles or whatever it was.
Carole Baskin was a shady bitch. No one will get around that. She was a shady fucking bitch. And she was unlikable. She didn't make any funny jokes or anything like the type.
Have you seen those guys who convinced her that they were Jimmy Kimmel and they were that she was going to be on the Tonight Show.
Yeah, I did see that.
That's hilarious.
So I guess there's used cars, which is part of it.
Carole Baskin's husband.
Oh, okay.
Another part of it is I guess he bought real estate, fixed it up, and sold it. And then what I was referring to was he frequented Costa Rica as a vacation spot, and he had business dealings that required him to fly back and forth in his little plane to Costa Rica. And his car was at the airport when he went missing. And some people think that it was just a plane crash in the water.
But they explain in the show that his planes couldn't travel to Costa Rica.
He got fed to the tigers. I'm convinced. I bet my bottom dollar.
Like he wasn't flying himself to Costa Rica because his planes can't make it.
No, he's tiger
Is that the
shit
case? I don't know. Maybe I could have my facts wrong.
Yeah, they explained in the show that he'd have to refuel like a handful of times to make it. He just didn't do that. He didn't fly himself there.
Even though so many people in that show are unlikable assholes, Carole Baskin was the most unlikable asshole. Well, that's why people hated on her.
The thing is, like, besides Doc also seemed like he had a lot going. He seemed like the smartest guy in the show, and he had a lot like that he was hiding. But Carole seemed so manipulative and like such a liar. Like when you see her tell the same lie back in like 1994 or whatever, and then today, and she does it the exact same way. Like the way she's like, Don said he had to get up early. And she like rolls her eyes and like nods her head back and forth. Like she's like mocking the way he said it early in the morning. And like, it's like, she's told this lie so many times. She's got her lines down basically. Like she found a line that works and she's not going to deviate from it unless it gets real serious. So, fuck her, Carole Baskin. Go fuck yourself.
These are the different stories. Conspiracy theorists say that Don had been flying his plane to Costa Rica every month, and he became tangled up in a dark drug trade. Chatter led to claims that his so-called friends suggesting Don liked to bury cash in the ground. Theorists concluded that Don was killed by a drug trade gone wrong. Carole Baskin says that he would fly to Costa Rica every month to have sex while she was on her period with like other women.
King.
And I don't know what the truth is.
Probably the sex. I think it was the fucking.
The monthly thing ties into that, right? Like, yeah, he had a schedule where every 28 days he would go down to Costa Rica for business, right?
I got some business to take care of south of the border. Later. Every month you just... Yeah.
So anyway, I was repeating a conspiracy theory, it turns out.
Yeah. I don't know. I think she killed him. It's so weird that like he was seeking protection from her like weeks before he goes missing. And it's so weird that like the will was written to say like in the event of my disappearance.
Yeah, I remember that. It's very shady. There's too many up in the air aspects for it to be totally up and up. It's like she was planning for contingency issues.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, she just seems like a real creepy fucking person too.
She's a bitch and I hate her. Fuck you, Carole Baskin. I know you're a listener to the show. Good job.
Doc is the man. Doc literally has like, they interview like one of his former ladies. She's like, I was 19 and my dad was like, don't fall in love with your boss. And I was like, well, I'm not. And then the next thing I know, he was paying for my titty implants and I didn't really want to get them, but it was more like they just scheduled the appointment and told me when I was going to go. And then they show her with the new boobs. And it's like, it's a good thing you went, honey.
That was a good move. But also the way she was saying, she's like, and I didn't really want the tits, but all I had in my head was, I would get a couple days rest. Recover from surgery, and I wanted the rest so bad I got new boobs. So,
she got some nice boobies, and it was an improvement. All right, you get to take those home with you. Yeah, you're gonna keep those when you leave the cult.
Yeah, you get to have those after the cult's done.
You could tell she missed the cult. She was like talking a little shit on it, but it was like
almost longingly.
Yeah, I wish they'd been like, would you like to go back? well, I don't know. Maybe if we paid a little more. It was like she was down to go back. She's because her new life involved splitting her own wood for her heat in her home, and I could tell maybe she missed whatever like mansion that Doc had her set up in, or hanging out with tigers and riding elephants. And
God, starting a cult, good idea.
I feel like Doc is
Great
going to say, why would I take you back? You're like 24 now.
he has
Rotten.
a harem. He has like 6 ladies, and like
some of them have been there for like.
I
20
called
years.
it too. I called it. We were watching, and I was like, I think this guy's got a cult. I was like, notice how like all of his employees are like hot chicks, like all of them. Like you go to Joe's place, and he's literally hired ex-felons, right?
Yeah.
Off Craigslist.
They all look like carnies.
They look,
Yeah, they do
carnies.
look
That's
like
a good.
carnies,
Yeah,
yeah.
they're grizzled, lots of missing teeth, long straggly hair. He's got them living in single wide trailers with 1 AC unit and no running water. Hardly. There's rodents in their house. Then you go over to the other guy's place, and he's got 6 rather attractive ladies, 20 to 30 years old, living in nice houses, dressed up however he wants them to, which is pretty scantily clad
new
most of
names.
the time.
Yeah, for
With
a
new
petting
names.
tiger session for children. You know, that's
Oh, I want to go.
tits are
I
hanging
want to
out.
go.
Yeah, the one guys were getting like expired meat or some shit from
Oh,
Walmart.
I was going to talk about that.
in the back of
Yeah.
the semi. Yeah,
So to
Ugh.
feed the tigers is an incredibly expensive thing. Joe Exotic has about 230, 250 tigers. All right. These are huge animals. You know, they stand up, they're like 10, 11 feet tall or something like that. Plus, like it doesn't even go into like how many lions he has, how many wolves, how many bears.
They said $10,000 a cat and something like $750,000 a
3.
year in
That's what he said, right?
3 what?
3,000.
$3 grand a cat. I think it was
Maybe
$3
I'm
grand a
messing it
cat
up.
per year or something like that. But it came to about $750,000 a year to
Yeah.
feed the cats. And one of the ways that they supplement that, you know, anytime there's roadkill, the highway patrol calls, oh, they go pick that deer up, feed it to the cats. And what Walmart will do, he explained the scenario in which, like, oh, maybe somebody takes their meat up to the counter, their car gets declined. Well, this person's handled the meat. It's been out of the freezer or the refrigerated area. They can't put it back. So they have to throw it away. Well, we get that. So what his employees do is they pick over these big trash cans full of expired meat from Walmart, pick out the good shit, and that's what they eat.
Well, there's a better way. They could just show up with declined credit cards.
Yeah, I know.
I send Larry up to the Walmart twice a day with a bad card. It's so good. You got
Yeah, this show's great.
It's so good. You couldn't script a better show. You couldn't. Like something about the people who are into exotic animals already, like they're odd people.
Mm-hmm.
And these are like the oddest of them. And every episode you get to meet you'll be like, well, we have filled the quota of creepy, weird dudes on this show. And then the next episode comes and they're like, this is
more.
Jeff. Jeff is a swinger who's a fake millionaire and a con man. And it's just like, oh God, this Jeff guy seems awful.
I liked how
Oh, he is.
I liked how the series opened up with like some random fucking fat bald guy who also clearly loved animals, and he's like, yeah, I mean, it's kind of just, you know, exotic animal lovers and, you know, in the trade, it's kind of an extended family of sorts. You know, you got the monkey people who are just kind of strange, honestly, but the big cat people, they will stab you right in the back. And it's like, how could this be a stereotype in this community? Where it's like, now the monkey people, they'll treat you right, but yeah, a little strange. But these cat people, you keep your eyes out when you're around a cat person. It's like, that was great. It's just
Joe's firearm safety. Woo! That man should not have. First of all, he's always got a revolver on his side. I couldn't notice what it was. I don't know, maybe a Smith & Wesson or something. Probably a 38. It doesn't seem that loud. He's always got a revolver on. He wears it on a gun belt with you know, like a bandolier
Cowboy
bullets
style.
around, cowboy style.
That's just part of one of his fetishes.
There's a part where he
wears
thinks that
chaps.
somebody. This is a minor spoiler. This is like a tiny little thing that happens in one episode, but he thinks somebody sprayed his boots with cologne, which cats are crazy about. They freak out over it, and so he's in the cage by himself. In a bad way.
Okay.
It's on his boots. It's on him. So he's in the cage with a couple of tigers, and this tiger's clearly interested in his shoe. And he's like, shoe. Come on now. I'm trying to do my little thing for the camera. Tiger bites his boot, and he's got good boots on to his credit, but it bites his boot and starts dragging him. And he's hitting the tiger in the head with a cane, like a stick. You know, it's not injuring the tiger, but it's like, come on, let me go. And finally, he goes to the pistol, and he's just like shoots right next to its head. Bang! And the cat like drops him. And he's like, the fuck? I didn't know you had that.
Well, this has changed the equation.
Now the other two cats are like honing in on him, like because he's down now, right? And he's just like, I'll shoot you right between the fucking eyes. Nobody was coming to help Joe. It was just Joe in the cage with 3 fucking 800-pound tigers or something like that, and him with 5 shots left in his 6-shooter, just like, I'll shoot you right between the fucking eyes, trying to limp away.
I can't wait.
It's
this
Does
show's
Joe
great.
have a leg problem? I'm getting my
yeah.
he's on a crutch.
Yeah, he's got like a knee brace and a crutch on and off because we're hopping around through time a little bit.
It's hard to follow. No, is the knee brace thing related to that attack?
No, he had that before the attack and during the attack. That's not explained. Have you watched Tiger King Quibble Cop?
No.
Oh, damn, dude. You had Corona. You had plenty of time.
Yeah, no excuse.
I still work with Corona, guys.
Yeah, you took a day off.
You
We know
guys.
damn well you did. You should have been
I
considering
did
media.
today. I did today. Yeah.
It's the #1 show in the world. It's
Hysterical.
It's
What's it
hysterical.
called?
Tiger King on
Tiger
Netflix.
King. I feel like no one's calling it out for what it is, right? A derivative of Game of Thrones. The
Oh, okay. I'm gonna watch this.
Yeah, they are birds of a feather.
Okay, well, there's the part where the father died. Obviously, a copy of what Ned Stark did. There's the part where Simba joins the Night Watch. You know, we're off with Pumbaa and the other cat. I forget.
That's the Lion King. God damn it!
The animation is dated.
I didn't see where you were going.
Songs
I'm
are
an
great.
idiot. I like that monkey. I like Rafiki.
Anyway, Tiger King.
I finished the series, and I mean, there are so many memes
Spoiler
going
free?
around with this show
Spoiler
right
free.
Here's
now
the
that
thing,
like it's impossible to get it spoiled. Really,
So it's a documentary. It's following these people in America who own roadside zoos. This may be a foreign concept to you, but in my country, we have many freedoms.
I'm not surprised.
And for $2,000 dues, you can purchase yourself a fucking tiger. And what happens after that is no one's concern but yours and your neighbors.
you just have a tiger.
Can you feed it?
Let's go,
Who
America.
knows?
Let's go.
Are you trained to handle tigers? Who cares? Do you have $2,000, sir? That is my only question. And you can get yourself a fucking tiger. And these people essentially, it's following a group of different people all around the United States: Oklahoma, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, Tampa, Florida. And there's a gun-toting, mullet-having country singer homosexual who's into polygamy, has 250 tigers, owns a ranch where he has felons and crackheads living in squalor. And that's all one person.
Kyle nailed it. I was like, don't forget in my head. Don't forget.
That's one
He
person.
nailed it.
It's incredible. And he's in this.
Can you go through that list again?
I can try. He is a gun-toting homosexual redneck with a mullet, country singer, polygamist, owns 250 tigers, country music singing.
You said gay, I'm sure.
Did we do
Yeah,
polygamist
yeah.
again? He's amazing.
He hires felons, keeps them in squalor, pays them $100 a week, and feeds them off of the same truck he feeds the tigers.
When he
Which
heard
is
about
expired Walmart meat.
when he heard
expired
about the
Walmart.
meth head stuck at the bus station, and thought, I might find an employee here. So she has no place to go.
I did a lot of research this week about the show. I saw an AMA with someone who used to work with Joe Exotic, and he defended the whole like paying these guys very little amount of money. He's like, hey, that $100 or $150, whatever it is, that's what you start out at. You've got to keep in mind these people are felons right out of prison with drug problems. You can't open them up with a $500, $600 a week like salary. They're going to take it, spend it all on drugs, and probably kill themselves right away. So you've got to like see who's going to be a loyal, dependable employee. He's like, when I worked there, those trailers were pretty nice. It did not look like that. I started out at $150 a week. I worked my way up to $600 a week, and because you have no cost there because he's feeding you, he's handling your room and board, and you stay busy, so you stay away from drugs for the most part. He said, at least I did. I left there ahead in life. You know, it was a good experience for him. He was very honest about the nonsense that goes on there as well, though. You know, the man has 2 husbands who were both straight men.
That was the craziest part. That was the crazy when Kyle laid it out.
How does that work?
All right, Joe Exotic is the star of our show, and he's gay. And he sees this guy come in, and he's an attractive guy. He's younger, he's fit, he's tall, he's athletic. And he's like, you know, are you straight or gay? And the guy says, I'm straight. And he goes, when you watch porn, do you like to see a small dick having sex with the woman or a big hog? And the guy says, well, I guess I prefer a bigger dick. And he goes, well, you're not that straight. And with a little bit of time, they're fucking. Now, how does it really work? He supplies their drugs. These guys are pretty much gay for pay, but they marry him. You know, they're like they have a wedding.
He had a 3-way wedding.
A 3-way wedding. Yeah.
Dude, the tooth situation on that show is unnerving for pretty
There's
much
another
everybody.
character. So you might be thinking like, all right, what are the other characters like? You know, we already dealt with the polygamist. No, there's another polygamist. This man named Doc. Don't think he's a medical doctor or a doctor of anything, frankly.
Yeah, he's not a doctor of English.
He's got like 5 or 6 wives in some sort of yoga-based cult.
That's way more impressive than having a doctorate.
In some sort of yoga-based cult. Also has hundreds of tigers. Rides around town on a goddamned elephant. Incredibly manipulative. And like, there's a part where maybe you remember this, Taylor, where like he's showing some tigers off for the camera, and one of his wives comes out and like she's got the tiger on a chain, and the chain rubs across his shirt. And he goes, oh, well, now my shirt's stained because the chain wasn't cleaned properly. Yeah. And it's just like, oh, you're in trouble, bitch. You're in trouble now.
You're grounded in your house. Yeah. And that he drives down his like estate where he has his zoo, and he's just pointing like, and that's Meredith's house, and that's Susie's house, and that's Joanna's house.
Not bad homes.
No,
not bad.
Way nicer than the Tiger King's place.
Man's got like $2-3 million worth of homes, easy.
Must. Yeah, it's hard.
He's in Myrtle Beach.
Is that okay?
Yeah, Wings lives right next to this guy, by the way.
How he should go? He should go. Like
he
Twitch
should
stream
go. Imagine now that would be a popular.
That would be content. Thing. Oh my gosh! He should go.
Do it, Wings.
He should go to the fucking Tiger Park.
Is it open? No, at the end of the
probably
show,
not.
They were saying like, you know how they do little updates. It was like, in December 2019, some sort of authorities like went in and inspected Doc Antle's zoo or whatever. So maybe it's not even open. If it is, though,
let me check real quick. I guarantee. My guess, 100% open.
Help me with the woman's name, Carole something.
Carole Baskin.
That Carole fucking Baskins.
So Carole
Baskins, I hope that she dies. Like, how many times did he say that on camera?
Dude,
1 billion.
Everyone hates Carole Baskin. Everybody hates Carole Baskin. There are people in America who've decorated their homes to the hate of Carole Baskin. This Tiger King thing has swept the nation. All right. I got to be contrarian here. Are we sure she's the worst person on this show?
Yeah.
Yes, she's not even funny.
Okay.
She's the worst person on the show, and that is really saying something. Okay. There's the one guy who's like literally a criminal and stole the zoo, right? And I don't know who's dressing him. Hello, fellow kids. I'd like a new wardrobe, please. with his fucking fake ass Ferrari and his rented mansion and his skinny jeans with
Oh,
3
Jeff.
layers of tops on top,
Joe
the
Ewing?
do-rag and
What's his
hat
name?
combo.
Joe
His
Jeff
name's
Lowe.
Jeff.
Jeff Lowe.
Jeff Lowe.
Yeah.
Good job.
Huge con man. Super fucking gross. So gross. That dude is like a rough 50 years old or something like that. And like dressing like he's at the X Games or something. I don't know.
Yeah, he's got like a bandana on under his hat, and then like a leather Letterman jacket looking coat with a goofy.
He wore a
expensive
black
suit.
Oakley hat to that funeral. And and you didn't even notice it or think anything of it because Joe Exotic wore a fucking chaplain's collar to that same fucking funeral, and it was his husband's funeral.
He was
Wearing a
his
cowboy hat and a chaplain collar and talking about the man in the casket's balls.
Yeah,
How he'd rub them golden nuggets all over my face.
Is that what he said?
that's
Yes!
what he said. He said,
Okay.
and even when I was stressed out, sometimes he'd come right over. I'd be working on something, doing a call, and he'd put those balls right in my face. And his like mom's in the front row of a kid who just died, and it's like this is. All of you are reprehensible.
There's a
People,
part
you
where a
just-
guy pulls up in some sort of a 3-wheel like hot rod type scat wagon, and
Yeah.
there's a skeleton riding shotgun, and it doesn't even occur to you to question it at this point because things are already so insane. I'll give you another one. The crocodilians that were burnt alive in the arson fire,
Mm.
Mhm.
they don't even bother telling you that those belong to Michael Jackson because
Really?
it's already so insane you don't even need that information.
So I think, we can go through our predictions on this. You know, this isn't really a spoiler show, but I guess we've already been talking about it. So
I don't think you can spoil this shit.
Yeah,
First
you
of all,
can't really. You really can't.
it's I'm telling you, like we've touched on a few key points. There's dozens of more shocking moments.
Mm.
Dozens.
It's one of the most entertaining shows I've watched in a long time. But I think that he definitely did not hire a hitman to kill Carole Baskin. I think that Jeff and that other guy set him up with it because it just doesn't. And ironically, it was that sociopath looking Doc Antle guy who was like, no, of course I don't think that Tiger King did any of this. He's not smart enough for that. He's smart enough to know that you don't hire a new friend who's now screwing you over's former business partner for $3,000 to go kill someone. It doesn't make sense. How are people buying this?
Wait,
And I was like,
was he just not smart enough and too smart in the same argument?
Yes.
it was, yeah.
That's the thing, though.
He was
That's the
saying
thing. There's levels to this shit.
he's not smart enough to orchestrate a grand thing, which is kind of what they were trying to accuse, but he's too smart to do this tiddlywink nonsense that they're trying to pawn off as a grand conspiracy.
I think
if that makes sense.
My thing kind of fits Occam's razor, I think, but I think he did do it, and that Jeff Lowe goaded him on. That he kind of
Oh yeah, they set him up.
they just goaded him
Yeah.
on. They kind of encouraged him to go down this path, and he did. And then he's the only one that got in trouble.
Yeah. He
And
took the
Carole
rap for
Baskin,
everybody. Carole Baskin's absolutely killed her fucking husband. She
I
absolutely.
think she fed him to tigers. I think that that would be my guess.
They reopened that case in real life.
Oh, I like the memes of her with a teardrop photoshopped on under one of her eyes.
Because the other guy that he hired to do the killing also had the teardrop tattoo,
So
and that
Carole-
meant he killed someone.
Oh, I just followed that. Carole Baskin, she was the animal rights side of this, right? And then they looked at her tigers and they said, what's so animal rights about this? Your grass is too tall, this and that. And then they also knocked her for only having 10 tigers.
Only showing 10. Where are
That-
the rest of those tigers at?
That made
I think
me
they knocked her for that because she claimed to have hundreds.
right.
Yeah.
But if there were only 10 tigers that we could find, maybe these tigers had better enclosures, right? Joe Exotic really did keep his animals in tiny cages. At the very end, he's like, yeah, I feel kind of bad. I have these 2 chimpanzees, by the way, they're like
Yeah.
children, in cages next to each other for decades. And now they're taken from me. They're near each other, and I saw them hugging. They could have been friends all this time, but instead they were in cages, separated, and maybe I was bad for doing that. Yes, you were bad for doing that.
Well, that's what he said. He's like, was I wrong for doing that?
Yeah, he had 187 tigers.
But then he says,
187 tigers. They were in like little dog poop training kennels, right? Like
Fuck tigers. Am I the only one here who doesn't give a fuck what they do to those tigers? Like I don't care if they're fucking them. I don't care if they're torturing them. I don't care if they're butchering them and serving up tiger steaks in there. I hope that pizza
I just
had
want
some
them
tiger in it.
to be breeding the biggest tigers.
That's
That would be
important.
cool.
That's important. I that's why I liked when I
Or
saw
make the
Doc had a
biggest
liger.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
They had the liger. Doc had
Yeah,
a liger.
multiple. But you
They get
can't. But
enormous.
ligers can't.
he was
ligers can't
hilarious.
reproduce.
He was like, you can't call him a liger, or the animal rights guys get all mad at you. But we got him. Or I forget how he
But he's
phrased
a
it.
liger.
yeah.
She goes, well, what is that then? Oh, it's a liger.
Is that how he said it? yeah.
He was he was the smartest guy in the room.
For sure.
Granted,
Doc?
it's a small room, but Doc is the smartest guy in the room for sure. Like you could tell how manipulative he was when the cameras first showed up, and he's like, "All right, well, let's set it up this way. I'll answer the door, and then I'll greet you, and then you'll come in." And he's, "All right, put the camera over here." He's like directing the cameramen for the documentary, and they're like, "I think he's a better director than you, Dave." Ha 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 ha. And I'm just like, I think he's super manipulative. This is a guy who's a bit of a sociopath. He's thinking 2 steps ahead of everybody, or at least he thinks he is. At least he's trying to be. This is a scary kind of guy.
I keep trying to like stack rank in my head who of the this menagerie of characters who is the worst. And I'll start thinking, and I'll be like, man, but that's pretty fucked up what Tiger King did with those online shows, like shooting, dolls of her in effigy, and then threatening to kill her. But then that one guy, he did like kill someone in the past, and it's like, oh, Carole, she probably killed her husband. These people are all so terrible.
Just because they're murderers. So I don't draw a big distinction between murder and attempted murder when I evaluate people. They both have the same spirit, right?
Good at murdering you are.
Exactly. But in terms of how good or bad they are,
I admire a man who's good at what he does.
If you're gonna murder, get it right.
So to say that she's the worst because she killed her husband, oh no. There's at least 3 people who have murderous spirits. Jeff Lowe, the Tiger King, and her.
Here's another thing about her. Someone who lives up there in Myrtle Beach, they're like, wait, he picked her up on Jefferson Avenue? Nobody's just walking on Jefferson Avenue. She was hooking. And if you think about the way that night went on, Carole Baskin was a hooker. That's what had happened. He picked her up in the car and took her to a motel and fucked her right away.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. Why didn't I think of that?
Well, because we don't know that area. We don't know what Jefferson Street is, but that makes sense now.
I've been reading up on this so much. Like apparently the guy with the black suit and cowboy hat that you probably think is like neutral, chaotic or something, on that scale of like
the director dude who did all the filming. Yeah.
You probably think he's like the coolest guy of them all. He's like, all right, well, he was just trying to make a living here, make a cool reality show. He even said, yeah, this was my retirement.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody was like, he was the director at a news program I worked at. He would sell pills in the parking lot, and he would sexually harass the women constantly. He was fired. When I saw him on my television, I felt violated all over again.
What? No, that guy was cool. He just sat there smoking cigs.
You know who was cool, I thought? The guy who had the little monkey that he was constantly feeding the same food he was eating into his own mouth. He was financing the second zoo with Jeff Lowe after like the first Oklahoma zoo had went under. They were getting closer to the Texas border. That guy seemed A-okay. He was just a financier looking for a partner, wanting to get into the zoo business, had a few dozen animals of his own. This Jeff Lowe guy had hoodwinked him, and he had a cool little fucking monkey.
That guy got
I want to know that monkey's name.
I also wanted to know more about the monkey
Bobo.
guy, but it was funny, like that red-haired bowl cut guy in the beginning, just that whole, I think I even said on PKM where he's like, the animal world, now monkey people, they're weird. They're just weird. Big cat people, they will stab you in the back, traitorous, and it's like, it's so funny.
He was so right.
Funny. Yeah, and that guy, he's sitting there like, I'm trying to build the monkey guy. Hey, he has the monkey in his shirt, just sitting in there with the monkey's little head popping out right here, and he's just working a backhoe trying to dig up plots, and he's like, I'm building the zoo by myself here because I got screwed by Jeff. I don't have time for this. And he's like taking a little bit of cucumber and feeding it to his monkey.
So I want to get off the Tiger King soon because I know Queb hasn't seen it. You should watch it. I promise you.
So
You
good.
guys
Take
sold
another
it.
day off,
Yeah.
Queb.
I'm getting paid for this every
I can't.
download. Coupon code FPS. Every time you watch. Not true. They am I the only one here who actually Googled how to buy a tiger?
I did not look into it.
Oh, I did not
I
want
have
to
Googled
own
how
a
to buy
tiger.
monkeys a lot though.
I like somewhere in the middle of episode 1 when they're just like "Rawr!" and he's like, yeah, for $1,800 you can get one of these man killers. I was just like, fuck, ain't no law against felons having Siberian tigers. Let's go.
So are you getting one?
I'm gonna be like Mike Tyson up in here. I got an extra bedroom. He can stay in this room. And just
I don't care if
imagine he was just peering, like pacing
Just-
back and forth behind me, looking through bars.
I went down that path with the wolf. I'm not doing it with the tiger.
No.
Yeah,
dude,
the wolf was
don't
also
do
my
it with
idea.
tiger.
Yeah, a bad one.
Well, you know,
A
I mean,
cool one. All right.
I think the castle might have been my idea. I have cool ideas for other people to try.
I think the castle might have been mine.
It could have been, but I supported it fully. In fact, I found you a castle, I
all
believe, in
mine.
one part up in the
There's
Pacific
some really cool
Northwest.
castles over here in the Netherlands, like actual, like legit, real castles.
Oh yeah. See, that's what sucks
cool.
about America is like settlers got here too
The
late to
castle.
make castles. It was like
Yeah.
post castle.
There's castles, and then inside you realize there's like 2x4 studs, and it meets building codes and stuff.
Yeah, it's like no,
Yeah.
I want like old school European
the
style
dungeon?
castles. That would be
Yeah.
cool to visit. I've never visited a real castle ever. in
Not
my life.
one parapet.
What's a
Single
parapet?
Isn't it those
It's one of
little,
those. Isn't it like the conical thing with the walkway
That's what I
around it?
think. I think it's the little
sure,
like
sure.
a like a
Where you
rook
can
from
fire
from chess.
arrows from. Yes,
Like, it's
exactly.
it's a missile that you walk the spiral staircase in.
Yeah, exactly.
That
The pointy hat on top. Maybe
Yeah,
some place to
wizards
shoot arrows
live.
out of.
So yeah, I fucking love Tiger King. I'm going to watch it again. I think I'm going to watch it again because there was too much content for me to digest it all. There is a subreddit called Tiger King. If anybody who's listening to this who is like me and loved the show and everything, and you just want to like have fun with the memes, because people are making great, really funny memes and all sorts of they're digging into the background, and they get some AMAs from people who are associated. Tiger King on Reddit. Can't recommend it more.